Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bad Guitars Podcast, episode number 39. My name is Andrew.
And my name is Kat.
Every episode, you're like, damn.
I cannot believe we have done this. I know
Doing it another week.
it's not like we've been doing this for 300 episodes, but
No.
still, it's like we do it week by week. So this is the 39th week that we have done it. That's a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, we're still not getting any better at it.
No. It's the same bullshit every week.
And, if it's your first time joining us, welcome. This is our weekly show where we talk about guitars, guitar news, pedals. A lot of pedals. It's mostly pedals on the show because more pedals come out than, guitars and amps and stuff. But every once in a while, we'll throw in a news story if there's something going on with a band or an artist. We'll try to throw it in on there. But today we got mostly pedal stuff. There's a guitar.
Always.
There's a guitar. There were some pickups that came out this week and stuff. I don't want to talk about.
Why?
I don't know.
You're not interested on it?
Here.
What was it? Dude, there was something that you talked to me about a guitar.
Yeah.
Like a guitar that came out. I don't know.
Oh, that's on here. Which one is it? The custom shop one?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yes.
That's on here.
Okay. You see, I do remember what you talked to me.
Let's start with our follow-up from last week when we talked about the new JHS pedal that was supposed to be coming out this past Monday. At the time, we didn't know what it was because our episodes come out on Sunday.
Yeah.
So this came out. We recorded on a Saturday. It comes out on a Sunday. The pedal was coming out on Monday. So people didn't know what it was yet, but, there's a lot of speculation on what it could be.
Okay.
Because the layout of the knobs and everything, a lot of people were thinking, it might be like a deluxe Memory Man kind of thing. Once Josh put out his video with the knob choice that they picked for this, everyone's like, it's going to be like a Dumble thing.
Okay.
But I don't think what came out was it's the Notadumble. So, they had the Notaclon previously. Now it's the Notadumble. It's your build your own kit, but it's not like a complete DIY kit. You just snap everything together. They package it up like an IKEA product. You get a little goop.
Okay.
You get a tube of goop that you can cover the circuit board with if you want to.
Okay.
So, it's just a fun little interactive
but
project.
Why do you say that it's not like a do-it-yourself, but it's more
you assemble it, but you don't actually build the pedal because you're not like a regular DIY kit. You're putting the components in there and you're soldering them in. Everything's already surface mount.
So everything is just
here.
assembled already.
Yeah. You just put it together in the enclosure.
Oh.
So it's a little fun, 10, 15-minute project for people.
I guess.
But so it's not exactly what people were expecting.
Wow.
With a Notadumble, with a Dumble stop pedal. So I've been seeing a lot of people online, like the day this came out, all the way up to today. People are like, I want to mod this thing, get rid of this channel switch here, mod a switch to be in line with this channel switch, like a jumper off there.
Okay.
Ryan from 60 Cycle Home even put out his own video about this, about wanting to put a second foot switch on there. We got a little fly or something, or gnat. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so everyone's complaining because it's not a 2-channel switchable amp thing. So this bottom section is a clean mode.
Okay.
And then you flip the switch up and you have your overdrive setting up here. So a lot of people are upset that they can't just have a foot switch to go back and forth between the two. Josh Scott put out his little thing on Facebook and he's like, hey, I understand a lot of people are talking about how they want to mod them and stuff. He's like, just want you to understand that's not the thought process that went into this as it being a 2-channel situation. The top section is supposed to imitate the overdrive of a double amp.
Okay.
The bottom section is actually to imitate a separate product altogether that was a floor pedal that Howard Dumble had built. That's like a clean boost kind of thing. So it was like a pedal kind of that John Mayer owns. And it's called the Boxylator.
What is that about?
Well, it's essentially you have a clean preamp kind of thing. So right here, JHS built one for John Mayer to be a replica of the original, like he loaned them the original. And then he built this one. So this is the one that's currently on John Mayer's board, so he doesn't have to use the original.
Okay.
Because I think it's a one of a kind product. I don't know exactly how many of those were built. So this section is built into these two knobs on the clean mode. So you have an input and an output.
So you have two products all together.
Yes, it's two separate effects in one box. But people are like, I want to switch back and forth between the two, which makes sense. It totally makes sense. I mean,
that makes sense to me.
So there's room in the enclosure. You could put the second foot switch in there easily. It's super easy to mod. You could easily just put a jumper off of this switch, or disconnect the switch altogether and run those leads to a foot switch. It's very easy. It wouldn't take very long. It'd take a few minutes. So people were talking about doing it. But why they
didn't do it? Why the people from JHS didn't do it?
Well, he explained it. He said that's not what this product was intended to be, because they're not two different channels to imitate like a clean and a dirty amp. It's a clean pedal that it copies, which is a different Dumble product. Than the amp. So you're supposed to get the amp and that pedal, both in this one unit. But no, it totally makes sense for people to want to put the second foot switch.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Now, they had announced that they had built 5,000 ready to go. Okay. They put out like the video that came out prior to the pedal. So it turns out they actually sold around 6,000 in that first day. Now, they sold out, and then they're going to come out every Monday at 4 p.m. Central. Is that standard time?
Yeah.
CDT?
I think so, yeah.
So whatever CDT is.
Okay, so next time it's going to be May 12th.
Yeah, so as of right now, there's a 1 day, 16 hours, 40 minutes, 23 seconds as of the time of us recording.
Okay.
That's when they're going to restock, and they're promising to have a minimum of 1,000.
And it's 119.
Yeah.
Didn't you show me you saw somewhere else, and you showed me it was like 160?
Yeah. No.
No, how much was it?
There were 2 already listed on Reverb.
That's insane.
And one was $220. So $100 more, and then the other one was $250, and it's like, come on, guys, just wait until Monday.
You just had to wait a couple days.
Wait till Monday, get on that list really early, or just don't buy it. You know, you don't have to buy every new pedal that comes out. I get it; it's a neat concept, but you know.
Say it again. You what?
I said you don't have to buy it. You don't have to. It looks like an interesting product, and it seems like people are really enjoying it. I'm just saying, people are really enjoying it, but like, if you don't get one on this second run, just wait till the third. Maybe you will. Maybe you'll get one a couple weeks from now. You don't have to rush to. I mean, eventually they will sell out because they say because the whole scarcity of parts and things are getting harder to source. Once they sell 15,000, they don't know when the next batch after that's going to come out. But you got like a month or two to buy one of these before they're sold out. I'm just saying. Anyway,
okay.
So I figured we'd lead off with that one because that was a follow up from last week.
I love that you say that you don't have to buy anything that
I
comes
didn't say
out.
anything. I just said you don't have to buy this if you.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway.
Okay. Go ahead.
So next up we have the Boiling Honey Tremolo from Monger Pedals.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. We've covered Monger Pedals on this show before.
$145. That's
pedal.
cheap.
Yeah, $145. It's a tremolo. It's 6 knobs on this thing, so let's see what it does.
Okay.
It's on a pre-order right now. Have you ever wanted a pedal that sounds like a pot of boiling honey? I'm not sure. I've never heard a pot of boiling honey.
Don't know how that sounds.
This optical tremolo does just that, creating thick waves of sound. Adjust the shape of the signal with smooth knob from a choppy square wave to a smooth triangle or sine wave. Change the spacing in between pulses in the space knob. Sim changes from a ramp up sawtooth to a ramp down sawtooth. Play around with different settings and dial in just the right amount of shimmer or full-blown volume cutoff. Top-mounted input jacks, 9-volt center, whatever.
9 volts, whatever.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's a 9-volt. I was just reading the whole page.
Okay.
And then you get, your volume, you get depth. And
I like that they had how does it work?
Yeah.
Okay. That's nice.
I like the image on this thing.
What is that, though?
I don't know. It looks like a
I
Some
like
kind of
the
fantasy creature with a hood, and he's boiling some
I
honey.
like the texture. You see, like,
Texture?
what's that? Does it say it's metal enclosure?
Yeah, it's a metal enclosure. Oh, you're talking about like the hammered metal kind of enclosure.
Yes.
The one that I have, I don't know where
I
it is.
like that.
You know, I've got the snake wine fuzz. That one
You
doesn't have.
do.
That doesn't have the.
I'm trying to see what it is. That doesn't have that metal. Does it? Like that kind of
No, it's
enclosure?
mine is like a smooth enclosure. I actually don't know which one I have. I've got the snake
I don't
wine
even
fuzz,
know
but I'm
what-
looking that there's a germanium version that has 2 golden
I don't
knobs.
even know what it is.
Mine has 2 golden knobs, so I wonder
Hmm.
if mine's germanium. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's on pre-order this week. So
I like that
announced.
though.
I know they announced a while back that they were going to be coming out with this, but they didn't specify what it was.
Okay.
I got too many things open here.
Okay, what else do you have?
Uh-oh. Something happened there. The Polyend Mess multi-effect step sequencer pedal. I know you're going to love the price on this one.
Oh, I already saw it. $5.99. Now, let me get back now that you mentioned the price because I was already thinking about this.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about the tariffs.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the first 2 products that we've been talking, like the JHS and just the pedal that we were talking, the boiling honey, are so cheap.
Well, I think a lot of people already had parts ready to go. You know, the tariffs just went into effect this past week.
True.
Well, didn't just go into effect,
Well,
but
yeah.
a lot of the they didn't just go into effect. I totally misspoke. We've been covering that they went into effect a while back, but the de minimis ordering sizes just went into effect. So for like some of the smaller builders that were getting certain products at like certain price points, like they were able to get their stuff without the tariffs, but now that's gone. Like it's
because I was expecting to see like every episode that we do to see the change from pedals that were like $100 to be like $200 or $100 to $150. But so far we're talking about pedals that are kind of cheap.
You know, I think there was another company this week. I forgot to get the screenshot of it. I think it was Frost Giant Electronics. They Frost Giant Effects. I don't remember the exact name of the company.
Okay.
They're talking about how, you know, their stuff is made in Texas, but they get parts from overseas because that's where you get the parts.
Yeah.
And they posted their tariff bill, and I actually watched a video this week where they're talking about how it was a political news video, and they were talking about how a lot of companies now are starting to like really speak out about like small businesses across the country of all different styles, like not just music equipment, you know, manufacturing. That's what we focus on here, but a lot of small businesses are like really starting to like share on social media, like, hey, this is where I'm getting screwed with this whole situation. But yeah, some of these bigger companies, I mean, they can afford to still negotiate with their suppliers and probably get like decent discounts where it balances out with the tariffs. But you know, that can only go on for so long.
Yeah.
And then some have to eat the cost a little bit, but then again, that can only go on for so long. But yeah,
anyway,
I think like right now when you're announcing like a brand new pedal, you have to already have all those other things and the costs factored into like what's the minimum you can charge for this pedal and still survive.
I know.
But
that's what I was saying though. Like even if you have a new pedal because you had the parts already, and that's why you're selling it cheap, wouldn't even make sense to sell it a little bit more expensive because you know the next batch that you're going to have to buy.
Yeah.
Like it's going to cost.
I'm sure that's factored
more.
in already. Like if you're selling something for $160, but you know the minimum that you need to sell that for is like $145, you're giving yourself a little cushion for if prices continue to go up.
Okay.
I don't know how these things work.
I don't know.
we don't build and sell anything.
You were saying that I was gonna look at the price. Yeah, that's where all of this started. $5.99.
Yes, so the Polyend Mess multi-effect step sequencer. So we covered this a while back. That Polyend put out like a drum machine for your pedal board, and it was similar format to this, with just like blue knobs. I think.
I don't remember.
So let's see what this thing has. It's got 6 knobs, a whole ton of buttons all over it. You got MIDI in and out, USB-C, micro SD. There's a reset button on the back. Expression pedal input. You have stereo inputs. You have stereo outputs. All right. I just want to get to the features here.
Go to the effects.
Oh, hold on. Polyend crafted more than another multi-effects pedal with immense supply and unprecedented levels of programmable, performative sound design to anyone creating music. Whether you're a guitarist expanding your pedal board, a synthesis looking for creative new sounds, or a designer expanding your control, the Mess offers something to love. This powerhouse effects pedal integrates virtually any setup. You can run into your DAW or straight into a speaker.
Okay.
What does it do?
Let's see. It provides 4 independent tracks that can each stack, sequence and control.
This is a sequencer down here, all these little buttons. Yeah.
More than 120 effects, does it say?
Yeah.
That's a lot. Okay.
Analog modulation, time-based effects, granular engines.
What does it mean when it says that it has 16 customizable pads? Like,
so down here at the bottom, these pads down at the bottom. Okay. If you're building a sequence, you can build the pattern of the sequence there. That's usually what that's made for, but it seems like you can set it to anything. See, it has settings, input level, preset selection, macro, mix, and tempo adjustment controls up here. That's what the knobs do. You've got 1 through 4 for your tracks over here.
Okay.
You have tap tempo, you have your on and off, and then you have a play for your sequencer. Mess opens a whole new world of possibilities, blending traditional sound shaping with generative performance power. So it seems like it does a little bit of everything. You get, your multi-effects. You can layer different tracks, so it's not just a looper, but it's a sequencer as well. Let's just get down to like the basic features here. So multi-effects processor, pedal for any instrument creator. 120 plus effects with multiple variations of each. Full onboard control with 6 knobs, 16-step grid pad, and full color display. You can save 1,000 presets, which seems unnecessary, but that's a lot of memory. 4 independent tracks for individual effects for each track as well. Stereo input with individual left and right outputs to split the tracks, and all the outputs and stuff that we already talked about. Pretty cool.
Just like 1,000 presets, though.
What I don't like about this description is it doesn't list like more detailed of like what effects.
I don't think they are gonna list 120 or more than 120.
No, but like give us like a full list of just like how many of this, how many of this, how many of this.
Now, just by reading, right?
Yeah.
When I ask you the 16 customizable pads, that alone, I'm too slow for that.
Oh no, I could never figure that out.
I'm pretty sure, like
that's more complicated than
to.
It's more complicated of a setup than I would ever need, but it looks cool.
I mean, it looks nice. I just think like for someone like me, you know, that's kind of too much.
No, I could see like their drum machine being more something I would take the time to sit down and program, because I'd rather program drum tracks in a sampler than I would want to program effects.
Yeah.
But I think it's a cool concept.
I do think the 1,000. What was it?
1,000 presets.
That's kind of too much. I don't know.
Unless you're
too much for me. Oh my god!
Oh, no.
What the heck?
Both yawning over here.
No, you yawned. You gave it to me.
Moving on.
Okay, what else do you have? Spaceman?
Spaceman effects. They have the Cadet series.
Oh, serious?
You've seen all these pedals before, but this is a different version of them. So there are 3 pedals in the series. There's the Delta 2 harmonic tremolo.
Okay.
The Saturn 6 harmonic booster, which I used to have, the original version of. The Explorer 6-stage optical phaser. Now, the Cadet series of these, right?
Okay.
So they're hand-assembled, incorporating contemporary SMD manufacturing techniques. So that's like your surface mount components. They're not all through hole like they traditionally would do. With raw metal enclosures, our signature faceplate with screen printed graphics and the distinctive Spaceman aesthetic. The Cadet series is the most accessible way to experience our exceptional sonic equipment. So essentially, they're not painted enclosures. They're using surface mount components, and they can sell them at a lower price point. So they're the same pedals. They're going to probably sound exactly the same as the hand-wired ones.
Okay.
But it's something they can offer to their customers at a lower price point. It's really cool.
So what's the main difference here?
Affordability.
Just cheaper materials?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, like, if you're using surface mount versus through hole, you can also manufacture them quicker. Because when you're ordering your circuit boards, a lot of the time they put that stuff on there for you. And then they ship you the circuit boards with the surface mount stuff already on them. Depending on what service you use. But that's primarily how a lot of manufacturers do it. So the Delta 2 harmonic tremolo is $179. Saturn 6 is $159. And the Explorer 6 stage phaser is $179. So let's keep that in mind. Okay. Let's look at the $159 for the Saturn 6. Let's look at what the regular Saturn 6 costs.
Okay.
Oh, wait, did they discontinue?
I don't see it.
Maybe they discontinued the regular versions of those pedals.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
I don't see it.
I don't either. And what about the Delta 2 and the Explorer?
Okay.
Okay, here's the Explorer. The regular Explorer is $279 versus $179. You're saving $100 there.
Okay.
And then what's the other one here? The Delta 2. Yeah, it looks like currently they don't have those other two pedals in.
They have the Explorer, but I don't see the Delta 2.
They might just be sold out right now, or they might have discontinued them. I don't know.
Okay.
But still, the Saturn 6, I really liked that pedal. And I regret that I sold that when I did, because with the amp I have now, it'd probably sound really good. But with the amp I had at the time, it didn't go well with it.
Oh, well.
What was that? Like a banging sound on the outside of our wall.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Do we have the alarms there?
Yeah, we do have the alarm set.
Okay. Yeah. Just making sure.
We'll jump into another one here in a second. I do want to say too, like, I've been trying to sell some equipment. We talked about that last week. Got rid of most of it so far.
I mean, you sold a bunch of stuff already.
Yeah, there was like a guitar, a bunch of pedals. A few more pedals left to sell. So if anybody's interested, reach out to me on Instagram or something. Here locally in Arizona, I've been trying to sell my Player 2 Telecaster. Finally decided it just wasn't working out for me. It's a beautiful guitar. It plays great after, getting it set up and everything. But I don't like having stuff sitting around that I'm not using. I'm not a fan. Which is hard because I've always been a collector of music stuff, but then at the same time, I hate looking at it all just sitting there not being used. And if I have one or two main guitars that I gravitate towards, like the other ones aren't getting played as much, and that one probably gets played the least now. I don't know. So looking to sell that one. I did have a buyer lined up, and then the guy was being really pushy about it too. I really want to check this thing out. I can't wait to come check this thing. He was desperate. He thought it was gonna get sold before he had a chance to come get it.
Was that the guy that was saying that he wanted to feel the neck?
Yeah, and so he kept being really pushy about that as well, which I understand. If you're buying a used guitar from somebody, if it's got a really fat neck and you like thin necks, you're not gonna like it. If you don't like thin necks and it's a really thin, Fender style necks are usually pretty thin, or at least the modern C shape, it's really thin.
Okay.
So I gave him all the details, and he kept asking more questions. Is it the chamfer body version? Is it this version? Is it that version? I was like, dude, there's only one model that they make right now in that exact color with those exact, that exact fretboard color.
Okay.
In the woods and stuff. He just kept asking more questions. Dude, I can just send you a link to Fender's website for this exact model.
Sure.
So I just, kept giving him answers or whatever. And then you know, was really adamant about like, oh, because we live like an hour away from each other, so we're gonna meet somewhere in the middle. And then ultimately he said he was gonna come all the way to me because he was desperate to get this thing, but only after he feels the neck. And I'm like, whatever. So he's like, finally, like he never negotiated the price, so I assumed he was cool with the price I had listed. He's like, well, will you take $625? I was like, no. This thing is like essentially brand new, and I know there's
Dude, you know, barely touched.
I know there's depreciation in value, but you're not going to find one that's essentially brand new for the price I'm asking. So we get to a good price that we both agree on. At this point, it's already like 8 p.m. and this dude's been trying to negotiate this thing all throughout the day, and I'm like, all right, tomorrow I'm free afternoon. Like after 12 p.m., I'm free the whole day. So I let him know at 12 p.m., hey, free the rest of the day, whatever. Never heard back from the guy. So, it is what that is. And then I have it listed, no trades at this time. A bunch of people reaching out with trades.
Here's my thing, though, with that specific person.
Yeah.
Because they were so persistent on the neck thing and whatever. Yeah. My fear is they are going to drive 1 hour, come here. They're going to feel the neck. They're going to be then, I don't like the neck, but, you know, like I'm already here.
I'm already here, so like, knock off $50.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. I've seen that before.
That's how I feel about it. Like, it's going to say like, I just have like 600, like, would you take it? Or we need to knock off like 100 because I don't like the neck.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then you're going to feel bad because you're going to be like, I mean, the dude drove an hour to come here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, I had one experience when I first started out doing all this, you know, buying and selling gear. I was like 18 or 19. I was living alone at the time. And I was selling my first drum set. Like, I had upgraded to another kit, and I was selling my very first kit. And I had this kit since I was like 15, 14, something like that.
Wait.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was like 14 or 15 when I first got this drum set. I had played with a bunch of different drummers on that kit. Like, I think in the time I had that kit, we had like 8 or 9 different drummers come through with various projects I was working on.
Okay.
Anyway, so I finally felt like it was time to sell it. And I think at the time, like, people were still using Craigslist primarily as the main way of trying to sell stuff locally. I never
used that.
I really it's terrible.
Never did.
You know, this is before you had Facebook Marketplace. Well, it might have been like starting out around that time. But like Facebook Marketplace wasn't really a thing. OfferUp wasn't really a thing. There was another one called Let Go or something. I think at the time, I think OfferUp bought them out. Anyway. So this couple, or this guy reaches out, they come out, and it's this couple, and they're probably in their like late 30s, early 40s.
Okay.
And they agreed on the price that I had it listed for. And I was throwing in some like junky cymbals with it and like the drum throne. Like, I just wanted it to be a full complete kit for whoever was buying it. But I was keeping all my good stuff. It's just like the shells and a throne and a couple stands.
Okay.
And so the dude pulls out the money. He counts it right in front of me, hands it to the wife to double count. And she counts it, and it's the amount, like, as far as what they're reading off and as they're shuffling through the money. And then she hands it to me. I put it in my pocket. I help them carry the stuff out. I get back up after they drive away.
And you trust it because the wife count the money too.
And they saw I was a kid, and they shorted me $20. Yeah.
You know what I don't trust Craigslist?
Yeah. Because people got murdered?
Yes! Yes! I think that's the reason why I never use it, because since I saw the first motor show or horror movie where everything started with Craigslist, I think I never got interested on it. Like, okay.
You know,
I'm not going to do it.
I would say out of the deals that I've done through Craigslist, there's maybe 10, 15 over the years. Not a whole lot. Versus like Reverb, I've done probably like 40 deals on Reverb. OfferUp has been like the main one for me. There's been a couple through Facebook Marketplace where it's hit or miss, because then you have a million people reach out, and then
True.
It's always the same. And I know everyone watching listening's probably seen the same thing, but like they reach out with the generic like preset that you can choose. It's like, is this still available?
Yeah,
it's still available.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
In Facebook Marketplace, you showed me this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a girl, I don't know if it was a boy, that he was selling their drawings.
Oh, that was an adult woman. That was an adult woman.
An adult woman.
Yes. She was selling her portraits that she was drawing with like colored pencil, I think, of
like
different
famous
celebrities,
people,
different celebrities, and they were not good. But she was selling for like $45-$50 each, and the only ones that had sold,
so many,
and it tells you which ones have sold, and the only ones that had sold were like, there was LeBron James, there was a Donald Trump, and a Joe Biden. And those are the only 3 that had sold. And some of these listings she had up for like a year. And she was still regularly posting more. So it wasn't like she had just had them up there and forgot about them. Like, no, she continued to put them up.
There were so many.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I don't know. You can buy whatever on Facebook.
I mean, there's been some weird stuff on there. Like the rare VHS copy. That's how they list it. Rare VHS copy of Diary of Anne Frank on VHS or something. Like, and they wanted like $25 for this thing, even though the Blockbuster sticker that says $6.99 was still on it. But it still was in the plastic. There was another one the other day where it was a
oh my god,
you could tell this was like somebody won this in like a Dave and Buster's prize or something, but it was like a Cleveland Cavaliers decal generic Stratocaster, and they're looking for like $500 for this thing. And it's like, dang, like, and it's one of those like, I know what I got situations. But no, with Facebook Marketplace, I get a lot, and they're like back to back, which makes me think they're not real people. Where it's back to back in the same day for the same listing, where like there could be like 3-4 days where no action, nobody's reaching out, and then like like I said, within like an hour of each other, there's like 3 or 4 people that reach out, like, is this still available? Do you still have this one? And it doesn't seem like it's fake every time, because at least half of them will be like the preset that they select, is this still available?
Yeah.
But then the other one's like, well, if I have like 4 pedals listed in the same listing, oh, is that Behringer Super Fuzz still available? Like, that seems like a real person had to type that. And then they just never get back to me. I had one person on, I think it was also a Marketplace, it might have been OfferUp this past week. They're like, oh, would you ship the JHS 3 Series Chorus to North Phoenix? I'm like, yeah, but that's not far from me. That's not really far. Like, you want me to ship it all the way to you?
That's not that far, though.
It's like, yeah, that'll be like $13 extra just to ship it across town.
I don't know.
Whatever. So that's we've been trying to sell some stuff, especially the Telecaster, because we had a little bit of unexpected expenses this week that, unfortunately, gotta cover the cost of some things, but is what it is. So hopefully it sells soon.
Yeah.
Again, if you're interested and you're located in the anywhere in Arizona, within reason, if you're in like Flagstaff or you're super south by the border, and don't reach out.
You don't need to come here to fill the neck. Yeah, that's totally fine. You can go to the Fender website, read the specs. That's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else do you have?
Well, Walrus Audio, this is not a new thing, but Walrus Audio has announced that they have a few things coming up. It says a week of updates and new things to accommodate more players and more places.
Okay.
Feel free to throw in some guesses. If you get it, we'll let you know we've got a mole in our organization.
Okay. New canvas?
So the Canvas series, they're adding something new to it. They have releases coming on May 13th, May 14th, and May 15th. So it does say updates and new things. So it seems like a couple products are getting like firmware updates, but then a couple things.
How many things are in the Canvas series?
We just went over that last time they came out with something. I think it was like 8 or 9 different things.
I remember we have been talking about that Canvas series for a while.
Yeah, they got the tuner. They have the DI boxes. There's 2 of them. The different sizes of power supplies. They got the rehearsal thing. They've got some other thing. I don't know. They got a bunch of different stuff.
There's so many things on that series.
It's a cool series, yeah. There's the power supply, and those power supplies look really conveniently sized. You know, they're nice and small and compact.
What is that pedal? The first pedal.
Which pedal?
Is that a pedal? I don't know.
This
What's
one?
that? Yeah, what's that?
We covered that on the show.
Really? We talk about that?
Yeah, the Chi.
Huh. That looks really
it's
nice.
a Yvette Young signature pedal.
Hmm.
We covered that.
Okay. Okay, then. I'm just saying
it's
that
not
one
gonna
looks
look
nice.
Now, this one's really cool, too, since we have their page open already. The Meraki. This is a...
And we covered that one, too?
I don't know if we did. No, this was before we started doing the show.
Oh.
Because originally it was a Black Friday release a couple years back, and then they didn't put it into the permanent line until like last year. But that's like a $500, $600 delay pedal.
My bills. Okay. That's too expensive.
So I just wanted to cover that because that's something coming up that we can cover next week. Thorpy Effects has a new pedal. Now, usually Thorpy Effects, they have like really like military style stuff. They're changing it up a little bit.
I like that pedal. I like the way it looks.
It looks good.
Yeah.
This is the Hanami Germanium Fuzz pedal. $399.
Okay.
Estimated to ship by 6/10 if you ordered one now. There should be some other views. Oh, look at the side. You have flowers all over the side of this thing.
Oh, dude, that pedal is beautiful.
That looks really cool.
It is really cool.
So let's see what it does. Hanami is a fuzz we feel is a natural successor sonically to the Boneyard, where the Boneyard left off. Rather than seeking to emulate anyone else's circuits, Hanami sits perfectly between the Boneyard and the Fallout Cloud, which is two of their pedals.
Okay.
It is a fuzz that takes inspiration from evolutionary fuzz tones from easy-to-navigate control sets. You have volume, which controls the balance to the output of the pedal. Unity, where the volume matches the volume, is roughly at the 10 o'clock position. Boost, this is where you adjust the pedal's character from smooth to lower gain fuzz to saturated, aggressive, and smile-inducing fuzz. Treble, it cuts or adds treble.
Okay.
Bass, same deal. What else you got here? Just says it's made with high quality components, 1% metal film resistors, WIMA and Panasonic capacitors when possible, robust through-hole plated PCBs. In short, all this means you won't have to worry about your pedal and should give you many years of inspiring tonal bliss.
Nice.
But yeah, if you look, like a lot of their stuff looks like military themed.
Why?
I don't know, it's just kind of the way they've done their stuff. So that's kind of cool. See, they're kind of stepping away from that a little bit and doing something that maybe appeals to a wider audience.
That looks really nice.
Cool. I did see somewhere that it said something. It's like somewhere between like a tone bender and a big muff, which I think that's what like Boneyard and Fallout Cloud are similar to.
Okay.
It's really cool. And I really like their design on all their pedals, where it's designed with this in mind, where like you can't accidentally stop the knobs because there's these guards on the side. So that's pretty cool. And I like the choice of knobs for this one.
It just looks really nice.
They
big fuzz, because we're looking at their website right now.
Well, this isn't their website, it's Chicago Music
Is
Exchange.
I was gonna say that big fuzz looks really nice.
Hey, we were just talking about Frost Giant. Yeah, we were just talking about Frost Giant a minute ago. With their
I love that.
That's a nice price for that, $169. Sorry to get off topic a little bit, but
we just saw something really nice.
The Frost Giant Special Run Big Fuzz. It's like the Russian Big Muff.
That
$169
really
bucks right now. That's
that
really
looks
cool.
Really cool.
We gotta get one of those.
Pardon me.
Or
didn't you just say I'm looking to sell the guitar and whatever?
I know. Dang, it's on sale.
But I tell you what, you sell the guitar, you can buy that big fuzz.
No one's gonna buy the guitar.
It looks.
The Ren and Cuff
nice.
has the fade font. That one's nice too. That looks very similar. They're both Russian big muffs.
It's in store.
The Russian style big muff is actually, I think, my favorite style.
Of course, it's his favorite.
Like
now
Russian.
that is.
Oh no! It's just
stock.
I had the TC Electronic Honeypot.
Okay.
And it's just like a cheap $40-$50 fuzz pedal. But that one was actually, and I've played a ton of big muffs over the years. Like I love all different variations, different brands, takes on it and everything.
In a certain point, you always have one.
But that one was my absolute like top 3 big muffs I've ever played. I love that thing so much.
Do you have a big fuzz right now?
The closest I have right now, which is weird because I don't actually have like a real big muff style pedal. I have the Boss Power Driver. It's too far away. I can't reach for it. But the Boss Power Driver is not an actual big muff. Like the circuit is not the same, but it gets you a very similar sound. It's like a really thick, heavy distortion and fuzz.
And does the Frost Giant that gets you there?
What?
The big fuzz.
What about it? Yeah, it's like a Russian big muff.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not going to have, in my experience, the Russian ones, the Russian era big muffs, don't have as much sustain, but they have a little bit better, they stand out a little bit better in the mix when you have like a full recorded mix or a band setting. I don't know, I keep clicking on this other one. Just trying to get off this page now. I broke the page. I don't know what happened.
You did. No, we cannot even see it.
Yeah. Anyway,
looks really nice.
So just a couple more. Let's jump into that guitar you were talking about.
Because the only reason I'm talking about is because you talked to me about that at the beginning of the week, didn't you?
Yeah, and I honestly forgot. I thought maybe we had already covered it last week, but I think it was just because you and I talked about it earlier this week.
That I say I like it, and you say you didn't like the design.
I'm not a big fan.
And later on, I was thinking of the design, and all I could think of is the pattern.
The Paisley pattern?
It looks like underwear.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of right on that one.
So this is the limited edition Brad Paisley 1967 Lost Paisley Telecaster.
Okay.
So it's got a blue Paisley pattern on it, but it's a little different than the old school Paisleys. So, in 1968, Fender introduced a short-lived Paisley red and blue flower finish options on the Telecaster and Telecaster bass, drawing influences from the Summer of Love. Now, we've seen these. They still make custom shop versions of the Paisley guitars. You know, we've seen them. They're custom shops. They're usually like $4,000, I think, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
These instruments were adorned with decorative cling foil and finished with a matching metallic burst, highlighting the vibrant colors in the intricately patterned paper. Many of these guitars fell victim to the unstable mix of thick paper, weak adhesives, and polyester clear coats of the time, and eventually showing major chipping and flaking, driving players to refinish their guitars.
Okay.
Others we simply repainted to cover up the polarizing original finish. Once discontinued in late 69, these guitars and basses seemed to vanish into the ether. Over the following 6 decades, the unsung heroes of the Free Spirit movement would pop up in the vintage guitar shops for sale and online, eventually begin to accrue a cult-like following. One of them happens to be, ironically, the singer, guitarist, Brad Paisley, which he probably saw that and was like, hey, that's my name. It's a Paisley design. Who knows how that came about exactly with he. But I've seen him play those guitars for forever now. Yeah, for at least a decade he's been playing the Paisley Telecaster. He's always been a Telecaster guy. But, so ultimately, he became the modern-day face of the Paisley-themed finishes. Flash forward to present day, and through fortuitous twist of fate, while he was studying guitar building, he was gifted what looked like to be lightly used sheets of the blue Paisley patterned cling foil, straight from the 60s. Driven by his newfound obsession of the blue Paisley cling foil, he teamed up with close friends Zach Childs and Joe Glazer to not only refinish one of his road-tested 67 Telecasters, but meticulously recreate vintage accurate Paisley cling foil paper. So they recreated the finished paper. That's crazy. So in partnership with Brad Paisley and the custom shop, they introduced the limited edition 67 Lost Paisley Telecaster. Swirling, pulsing, and blinding carousel of blues, greens, silvers, blue Paisley relic finish brings a perfect balance of vintage charm and unique alder. So it's alder body, Paulownia and spruce Telecat. What? Is it a mix of different woods in the body? Alder, Paulownia, and spruce. Yeah, it's a mix of the 3 woods. Featuring a custom 60s oval C shaped neck, round laminated maple fingerboard. It has Seymour Duncan Lost Paisley Telecaster pickups, and a Glazer, oh, it's the Joe Glazer, G bender system. So typically people would put like a B bender on their Telecasters. This one has a G. So if you're not familiar with the bender systems,
no,
it runs through the body, and you have this mechanism that your strap attaches to, like a regular strap button, and then as you pull down, it moves, and then it bends the string. So you get like those country like swells and stuff that you get with like a lap steel guitar, but you can get on a regular guitar. So it's cool. Other premium features include a 7.25 millimeter radius, 21 narrow tall frets, modern tele wiring, 3-way switch, 67 Telecaster bridge with laser G-bender system, vintage style tuners, bow nut, wing string tree, period correct Fender strap, and certificate of authenticity. Now, I saw that these are super limited. I think there's only 67 of them made because it's a 1967 model. It doesn't say that directly on Fender's website, I don't believe, but I did see something online where people were talking about it.
Okay.
Doesn't say, doesn't.
I don't see anything.
Anyway, it's super limited edition. I think there's 67 of them, and they said a handful of them Brad's going to have personally, outside of those 67 that are available for sale.
That he's going to have them?
Yeah, whatever he chooses to do with them, he's going to personally curate what happens to the other like 19 or 20 of them. So
how much is that?
$7,000. We've seen more expensive others.
Yeah.
I think that Mike Campbell. How much was the Mike Campbell guitar? From a couple weeks back, was that 4,000? 12,000? I don't know.
I don't know.
Since we're on the subject of guitars, we have a set of pickups that came out this week.
Didn't you say you didn't want to talk about it?
I didn't want to because I don't know who this is.
Who's that? Who's that?
I don't know. I've heard the name. It's one of those where like...
Who's that guy? Philip? How do you say the last name?
Introducing the Philip Sayce Mother Stratocaster pickup set. It does. It says down here who he is. Seymour Duncan, leader pickup manufacturer, based pickups, is proud to announce the Stratocaster set for Philip Sayce. How do
you write that name? I don't even know how to write the name.
It's literally right here on the screen.
That's a Canadian guitarist.
Yeah, it says. I'm about to read who it is.
If
you already got it up there, tell me who it is.
No, go ahead, because I'm looking on Wikipedia.
Well, it just says here that he's a studio and live guy. He's worked with Jeff Healey, Melissa Etheridge, Uncle Kracker, which I wouldn't necessarily say working with Uncle Kracker is like something you want to put as like top of your resume.
Who's that one?
Uncle Kracker was like a dude that was friends with Kid Rock. That's kind of how he launched his career. He was like Kid Rock's DJ at one point, I think.
Oh, okay.
So these are a recreation of his 1958 Stratocaster pickups from his mother Strat. Amazing clear full body vintage sound. First 500 sets include a custom aging, special packaging, and certificate of authenticity signed by Seymour Duncan himself and Philip Sayce. He's been known to bust out impromptu slide guitar solos with a beer bottle. One fateful night, the original 63 pickups in his guitar bit the dust after succumbing to corrosion and eventually shorting out. So he swapped them out with some special pickups sourced from a 58 Strat. His guitar that he calls Mother took on a whole new life and legendary sound. So what are you reading about who he is?
What is that? Jesus Christ.
What is that? Hopefully
it's
that's not
ad. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Premier Guitar just started blasting an ad out of nowhere.
Dude, I have no idea. The most popular song is called Alchemy.
I thought you were like on Wikipedia looking up.
I was on Wikipedia, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
There's nothing of this dude that I know. Like absolutely nothing that I know. I'm looking at the discography, like
again, it's a name. A lot of these
I don't know anything.
A lot of these big guitar virtuoso guys that everyone seems to know who they are. I don't know most of them. Like,
and this guy has worked with a bunch of people that I really don't even know.
It's like, I know I've heard this guy's guitar playing on tracks, but I don't know who he is.
I'm sorry.
I have that happen a lot, and it's funny because like I guess that's the expectation of like the modern guitarist, is that you probably like, you know who everybody is and like their sound and shit. Like I like what I like, and I focus on those people's sounds. You know, Jeff Healey is listed here. Jeff Healey's been dead for like 25 years at least.
Well, it seems like this guy has been active since 1990.
Okay.
So it's been like a long career, but like again.
Yeah. I mean, look at his Strat though. That thing is really cool looking. Like that's a real relicing. That's not somebody took a sander to their guitar and a chisel and hammered away at it. Like this is a real guitar that's been used night after night. You know, like that looks really cool. So does it say what the pickups cost?
Yeah, get back up on top.
Oh, $375 for the
$375.
set, which it's, you know, custom signature set of pickups. It makes sense for it to be $375.
I guess.
Again, I don't care much for signature gear, but the way they describe these, that seems like the kind of pickups I would put in a Strat. You know, like some vintage style. I don't know. My Strat has Fender pickups in it, and they're Tex-Mex, which is the Jimmy Vaughn signature set, which that's Stevie Ray Vaughan's brother. A lot of people go for the Stevie Ray Vaughan Texas Special pickups. I got the ones that I got because they were on sale. But the Tex-Mex works just fine for me. It makes the Strat not actually sound like a Strat to me. I don't know. I like the sound of it. I think we just have a couple more here.
Okay. What else do you have? That looks cool.
Yeah, I like the look of this pedal. I just don't think this is something that I would personally use. This is the KMA Machines Geminis Stereo True double tracker. It looks really nice.
It does.
So I watched a video on this earlier today, and it's really cool the way this works.
What is this exactly?
They use this pedal actually uses AI.
How?
Well, I don't know how. So
cool.
The control set on this thing.
Okay.
You get your on-off foot switch, obviously. You have one knob that is TDT width, which is true double track width. You have two toggles. One is the pitch.
Okay.
The other one is mode. So, and then you have a time, mini pots for time and level. So what this pedal does is it allows you to create the sound of having double tracked guitars. And you can pan one to the left, one to the right. And it's as if you were to record two guitar tracks simultaneously that are slightly off in pitch or off in time. So it's not just a double tracker where you have two of the exact same guitar sound happening at the same time. You can adjust them to where they're offset just a little bit to where they actually sound like you're playing and recording it twice. But again, you're doing it all at once. You can run this thing mono input to mono output. You can run stereo input to stereo output, stereo input to mono output, mono in to stereo out. Like you have multiple different ways to run this thing. Actually, I don't think if you run stereo, I misspoke. If you run stereo in, you have to run stereo out. I just noticed when you run.
I just realized
when you run the mouse over the pedal on the page, it actually lights
up. It lights up.
That's cool.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. So cool.
Anyway,
at first I thought it was crazy because I was like, did I see that line up or like?
No, I saw it at the same time.
Am I so tired? Like. That's a cool website that they have. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So here's like their official description here on the website. Like a rippling reflection staring back at you from the water. The figure is familiar yet unknown, a mirror image perfect in its depiction. With the form and essence of your Geminis, you exist in two forms at once, related but unique, the same and yet distinct. So the first outing in KMA's unique and custom AI-driven true double-track technology was in the Endgame, the powerhouse end-of-chain pedal. We designed our dead simple to use TDT algorithm and Endgame to be as authentic to double recording process as possible. But we realized that not everybody needs all the bells and whistles of the Endgame. So the processing power requirements required for TDT meant a simpler device wasn't yet possible. But as demand for the community grew, our team worked to squeeze it down and make it happen. So Geminis is all of their true double track goodness and a compact pedal suitable for any board. So whether you're playing live with a single instrument, it can give you the perfect solution for fatness and width to your performances, and it feels like you're playing the same riff twice. So features, you have the width knob, which provides control over the stereo field. You can do stereo mono connections through TRS jacks, because there are only 2 jacks on this pedal. Flexible signal routing. Again, you can select stereo outs and stuff. Time, pitch, and level controls for the I can't talk tonight. Precise TDT tailoring. Compact enclosure with top-mounted jacks. Switchable true buffered bypass. Silent relay-based soft switch. Premium analog electronics. 32-bit internal processing. What's the price? Ooh, $269. It looks really cool.
It does look really cool.
Like, I want one just because it looks cool, but I don't know what I would use it for. It saves
you were talking about that you don't like things that you don't use.
You know, it's supposed to save you time if you're recording, though, instead of, like, having to, like, I mean, it's one of the many uses for this thing, is instead of, like, recording 2 tracks, you could just...
So where does the AI comes into game here? Because you're recording 2 at the same time?
I think the AI is what helps you make it sound more authentically like 2 separate guitar tracks.
Okay.
Again, with the pitch adjustment and stuff, and the time offset. So, you know, it seems like actually something they could charge more for, to be honest. $269. Looks like it's available on back order right now, so it's already sold out on their website.
Okay.
Last one for the night. This one's kind of weird.
Why?
Because the way this was listed on wherever I found it, Premier Guitar, guitar.com, or whatever.
Okay.
It said Act Entertainment, which it linked. I ended up just going directly to their website. But the article was like, Act Entertainment is announcing their new Sterling Vermin rap style pedal. And I'm like, the hell is Act Entertainment? So Act Entertainment owns Rapco Horizon, which owns Proco, which manufactures the Rat. So they're not listing this as a Proco Rat. They're listing this as an Act Entertainment new pedal in the Rat brand. So it's very confusing. And it does not say Proco anywhere on the where
so
we usually
this
say
company
Proco.
owns the other company that does the Rat.
This company owns Proco, which owns the Rat, or manufactures the Rat, and usually right here on this part of the pedal, the front, it says Proco on it. This one just says Rat. So, Act Entertainment's iconic Rat brand has unveiled the Sterling Vermin, a boutique distortion guitar pedal that blends heritage tone with modern refinement. With a new take on the Rat's unmistakable sound, Sterling Vermin delivers a new level of precision and versatility. It was born from a desire for something different, something refined, the soul of a traditional Rat pedal, but with a voice all its own, says Sean Wells, market manager of Sound Act Entertainment, who designed the pedal along with his colleague Matt Gates. That's an unfortunate name, Matt Gates.
Why?
Because the guy from Florida.
What guy?
The guy that had the accusations that he was hiring underage girls for things. He was almost the Attorney General of the United States, and then that scandal broke, and he.
That's his name.
That's his name, Matt Gates. Spelled differently, yeah. Now he's like a news host on some kind of.
You're like, that's an unfortunate name.
No, he's like a news host on some kind of generic offset of, you know, like a fake Fox News.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like On Network or something, or America First Network or something, like some weird news outlet you never heard of, because he couldn't get a job anywhere after he resigned from Congress. Anyway, built in small batches and hand soldered in Axe, Jackson, Missouri headquarters, the Sterling Vermin is a work of pure beauty that honors the brand legacy while taking bold step forward for creativity.
Okay.
Sterling Vermin features LM741 op amp and a pair of selectable clipping diodes. Players can toggle between the traditional Rat silicon diode, configuration for punchy mid-range bite, or the Bat 41 option for a smoother, more balanced response. Results is pedal equally at home, delivering snarly distortion, articulate low-grain overdrive, a wide usable tonal range throughout the entire gain spectrum. It also features CTS pots, oversized knobs for even responsive control. Essentially, this is a high-end version of a Rat. I mean, you have polished stainless steel enclosure with laser annealed graphics. You're essentially just making a Rat that has switchable diodes, it looks like, or clipping. And it's in a nice enclosure, stainless steel. And you have the CTS pot. So it's just a Rat. It's like a boutique version of the Rat, but it's made by the same company.
Smart.
It is smart because people that collect Rats need a new one.
How much is that?
You don't want to know.
That indicates that it's going to be expensive to my standards. How many Rats there are?
There's the Rat 2, there's the Rat Little Rat, there's the Rat Deuce Tone, there's the Rat Solo, there's the Fat Rat. Where's all the products? I want all the products. It's weird because on my phone, browse Rat. Here we go. Okay. Here's all the Rat products. There is the You Dirty Rat. There's the Turbo Rat, the Solo Rat, Rat 2, Little Rat, Fat Rat. Which I had a generic version of the Fat Rat, and it was pretty good.
I just want to know how much is that one though.
Log in to see
and
price.
And it keeps saying log in to see price.
Log in to see price.
That's not making me feel comfortable about the price.
On my phone, I thought I had it open on my phone and I could see the
Check on it. We cannot just not say how much is it.
I thought I saw somewhere it's like $350. I think that's what I saw. Or $399. But yeah, you see right here where it usually would say Proco, it says Rat.
Okay. Okay.
You know what? It's going to bother me if I don't find the price on this thing. All right, here we go.
Okay. So how much is?
Yeah, $349. When you can buy like a regular Rat.
Okay.
You can buy a regular used Rat for like $50.
Really?
Yeah. I think they're like $90 new. Anyway, I think that's everything we had for this week. You got any news you want to share? I can't think of anything.
No, really, no.
I guess it's been a slow week for us.
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're gonna get up out of here. Let you guys go back to whatever you gotta do with your day or night, or for us it's like 10 o'clock at night. So we're exhausted.
For us it's bedtime.
Yeah, it's pretty much bedtime. So I guess we'll catch you next week.
I don't say it.
We'll see you at home.
Okay.
Right, bye, everybody.